Hey gang, so as you can tell by the title, this is actually going to be a real tutorial on how to do this, coming at the request of some people on Reddit, and it totally makes sense. So this is the step-by-step visual guide of making your Captain America magnetic as far as his shield's concerned. So this is all you're going to need. Some drill bits, a drill, preferably. You don't necessarily have to, but it's a lot harder if you don't have one. Some magnets, you can get these at Hobby Lobby, I'll look at those more in a second. And then a Captain America with his shield. A few other tools that I find useful, but we'll get into that as I get into those stages. So let's go ahead and jump into the first part. The first thing you're going to want to start with is the actual figure itself, the Captain America that you're wanting to make magnetic. Now this will work with any MCU or comic-based Captain America, it doesn't matter. Even to an extent Marvel Select if you're wanting to get that. I haven't done it myself, so I'm not familiar with how their shields attach, but it should be a very similar concept, so no big deal. I'll show you the shields for the MCU and the comic-based versions, because those are the two main versions, attachment-wise, that Hasbro uses, so we can kind of go through there. But importantly, find the figure and know where you want to put the shield. So typically it's right here on the right forearm. As you can see, I've drilled a hole. Let me go ahead and focus the camera in. Drilled a hole right there. You can kind of see it. Now what I'm going to do is show you how to go through and do it on the other arm. So I won't be doing the drilling live, but I'll do everything else as far as marking and all that. And then usually there's one in the back, so as you can see I've got a hole drilled out there as well. And then on the shield, if you do it right, you can usually just put one in the middle and it works fine. You clip the little arm things out of the way. Sprue cutters work pretty well, but if you're very careful, you can use an X-Acto knife. Unfortunately on this one I screwed up, so I have two, one for the forearm, one for the back. But if you want to put more than that in there, you can absolutely do that, so no worries. But let's go ahead and take a look at marking. It's kind of a two-stage process, ideally. What you want to do is find out where on the forearm you want the shield to attach. So actually on this one I put it a little far forward, so ideally you want it kind of right under where the forearm peg is on the Marvel Legends. Take a Sharpie, could be the fine point, could be this one, but find where you want to put it. Put a little dot there. It's not going to matter too much because you're going to be drilling that out, so it's not going to stay there forever, so you don't have to worry about it looking weird on the figure. But find out where you want to do that. Pop it on the forearm there. And what you want to do is you want to find your magnet. Now this is a pack I've already used, but this is the pack you find at Hobby Lobby typically. It's $5.99, it's 24 magnets, so it's not an awful deal. They're small enough, they also work for a lot of other things. Namely, they fit in the pegs in the bottom of the Marvel Legends feet. They are 0.125 inches or 3 millimeter. So if you're looking on different websites or different stores, that's the sizing you're going to want. Now from there, what I typically like to attempt to do, which as you can tell I haven't done on this shield, is plan out the magnet selection itself. Because what you're going to end up doing if you don't do this properly is put a magnet here, a magnet in the back with the opposite sides facing, and then you're going to have to put two magnets on the shield. So in the interest of saving magnets and not making it look super weird, it is best to plan that out. So what you want to do, get any kind of metal thing. I've got needle nose pliers because they work pretty well. They attach to that, and just do the middle one in the shield first. So clip those, pop one, super glue it in the middle of the shield, and find which side attaches. So we know it's this side right here. Pop that one off. Side that's going to go on the inside, put a mark on it. That way it saves you from confusing what side goes where. The mark's going to go on the inside, so all you have to do, drill that hole there, and then you just pop it on in. Now I need to use a bigger bit on this one so it fits, but you get the idea. Now, the actual drilling part, like I said, I'm not going to do that live, but I do want to kind of give you an idea of how to do this very carefully. What I typically try to do when drilling the forearm is try to get it like this, so that in the off chance you drill through, you're not hitting yourself. Now do it very slowly, very lightly. Find your mark, which if we can kind of get closer here. Can't really see in this light. I can kind of see it a little bit right there. But be very careful, very slow when you're drilling it. If you want to use just a drill bit by hand, you absolutely can. It's going to hurt your hand after a while, so be careful with that. But once again, be very slow, be very cautious, be very deliberate. And you don't want a drill bit to get your hand. So if you're not used to using a drill or comfortable using a drill, just get the bit. Get the bit out. Just get the bit. Now these are going to typically have some kind of lubrication on them, so it's going to be a little weird. If you want to use rubber gloves, you absolutely can. And then just find the point right there, and then just lightly apply pressure and spin it with your fingers. And then it starts the little hole there. You can kind of see that. Like I said, it's going to take a lot longer, and it is going to wear your fingers down, but it is going to be a lot more cautious, a lot slower, a lot safer, so you're not going to drill through your hand, which is the better of the two options, especially, like I said, if you're not used to using a drill. But let's go ahead and look. Yeah, I know you're telling yourself, Thespicer, why is this a big deal? Why is there another step? This seems pretty straightforward at this point. But what you want to do as well, if you are having problems with the magnets coming out on each other, if the friction in here is not holding it in, use a very, very small dab of super glue, put it on the end of the magnet with the mark, and then just plug it on in there. And that'll hold it at least well enough. No, well, once again, let it dry. Don't attach the magnet immediately, the other magnet. But that's pretty much it. That's all you need. You can put magnets in the base of his feet. You are going to need a little super glue because it's a little small for Cap's feet. They work great for Spider-Man's feet. But outside of that, you are pretty much done. And let's take a look at the other shield, the comic-based shield, since you've seen what the MCU is going to look like, just to kind of close this out and get you guys an idea. Guys, so these other style Hasbro Marvel Legends shields that usually come with comic book Captain America's. The easiest thing to do is use some screw clippers here. You can find them at specialized hobby stores like Hobbytown USA. Or you can get them on Amazon. They're usually $10 to $15. Super useful. I use these in most all of my cutting for anything. Unless it's very small and detailed, then occasionally I'll use an X-Acto knife. But what you do is you find both sides here of the housing that holds this part in place, line them up with the bottom, and then just snap, 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 and snap. And then what you can do is just pop them off. Now what I typically recommend at this stage is they're going to be a little rough on those corners, not too much. If you want, you can sand that down, because what you're going to do is take your Sharpie once again, find right where you want to put the magnet, put a little black mark, take that same drill bit, whichever drill bit you decide to use. I try to match it up to the size of the magnet, so again, pop it right there, but be very careful because these are pretty thin, so you don't want to go all the way through and hurt yourself or ruin the shield. So be very careful, but usually there's enough that just a little bit of the magnet is sticking out and it holds in there pretty well. But yeah, so that's how you do that. If you guys have any questions, absolutely put them in the comments down below. I'd be more than happy to answer them. If you guys have any cool mods of your own, or you've seen other figures that I've done mods on that you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments below as well. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more videos like this. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram for pictures of all kinds of different action figures. Be sure to check me out on Wordpress for breakdowns of comic book characters, portrayals in movies, things of that nature. Anyway, I really do appreciate you guys watching. It means a lot to me to have the continued support. And I'll see you guys in the next video.